And it looks like we're live. Welcome everybody to the great battles of the American Civil War with Dead of Winter from GMT. Let me throw out the tweet. How's it going, Pat?
It's going. I've had better weekends.
I understand. I understand. Yeah. So it's all good. And we are about to start. I think this is turn 10, if I'm not mistaken.
It is the dawn turn. So we've got visibility now up to 2 hexes, which means 1 intervening hex.
Yeah.
And here we go. And we have not placed orders, but we've gotten our chits ready.
Correct.
And I will let you place orders first, for not jerking around the map, and then I shall place mine. Because I think we're going to have some attack in this turn.
Plausibly, yeah. Let's see what we got. So the pools are ready. The chit pool is ready.
Right.
So.
Just let me know. Just
go ahead.
Okay. All right.
Go ahead. I'm good.
All right. So let me place orders. Markers. What do they call the orders, right? So, boom. Boom.
Oh, that's interesting. So, something that we need to bear in mind, and I believe we've missed so far, is that the Army commanders have an initiative modifier. And in this case, that is a +1 in favor of Rosecrans. So,
right. We should be adding that to the initiative.
We should be, yeah. And I think that might have made a difference at least one of those turns, but, I mean, that's fine.
I remember specifically that on this turn, I rolled 2 higher than you, so we would have tied. So it would have gone to whoever had initiative last.
Yeah. Well, we weren't going to go back and fix anything anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Right. Let me do this.
Because Bragg is a 0, as you should not be surprised to hear.
So let's see, that's going to be...
Even Rosecrans has a higher rating for this than Bragg does.
It's not on the... I see a -1 on Mr... No, that's Polk. No, Bragg has a 0. You're right.
Yeah.
Look at Polk. Let me just examine everybody. I might just say
totally fine.
I might just say treat the normal no marker as advances. I have everybody under attack orders, but we'll see. Yeah, crap.
Well, you probably don't want everybody under attack orders.
That's what I just decided.
In at least a couple of those cases, attack orders would amount to just, consigning guys to half movement, which might be fine. And, guys in the back are generally not going to be under attack orders. So, in news over here this week, I have received no less than 5 new Napoleonic titles in the last week or so. All from OSG and the Library of Napoleon. Well, one of them is Napoleon at Bay, so that's not the same series, but same type of deal. It's just the operational version of that series.
Blue. We got green. Where is Yeller? Oh, Wheeler is the de facto division commander. Okay. Clone. So that's Cheatham and Wheeler. And now, go with Anderson.
So there will be some kind of Napoleonic content coming. We'll see what that actually is, but something is coming.
What games were they?
La Patrie en Danger, which is the 1814 campaign in France, but it's like the grand tactical game, plus Napoleon at Bay, which is the operational game on that campaign. Napoleon's Resurgence, which is the campaign in Germany in 1813, or part of it anyway. Napoleon against Russia, which is exactly what you think it is, and Napoleon's Quagmire, which is the middle of the Peninsular War.
Cool.
So, and I have 1806 Rosbach Avenged on its way at some point, which is another operational one.
What the I almost played Napoleon at Bay, almost streamed it with the tweezers, and we really loved. Like, we were really eager to. We just thought it would be a bad visual experience.
Well, that might be true
because of the hidden movement.
Yes. Another thing is that there is Napoleon at Bay has been out of print for a while, right? But it's not particularly hard to get in either the Avalon Hill Hideous Box version or one of the OSG versions. There is a quote-unquote Napoleon at Bay expansion kit that just came out. And it is, I don't know that expansion kit is at all accurate, because what it essentially does is replace everything in Napoleon at Bay except for the maps. So it's got new counters, new displays, new rules, new scenarios, new everything. And it supposedly streamlines the game a bit. But I think it's generally true that Napoleon at Bay is one of the better regarded Zucker operational Napoleonic games, as opposed to some of the ones with serious problems like Struggle of Nations and even 1809. The old Victory Games 1809.
It's Struggle of Nations. Yeah, I really love, shout out to Jim Ozer,
Ozarski.
How do you say his name?
I don't know. Ozarski.
Who continuously, dives into old SPI, which normally I poo-poo, but I really like. I still think the best thing I've seen on Leipzig was the SPI more tactical version of that, and I remember that being a blast, and I'd love to play that that specifically again. I also want to play. I don't think anybody's really done Marengo that well, and I'd like to play that.
That series has the Library of Napoleonic Battles, the Zucker series, in any of its incarnations, has never actually done Marengo for whatever reason, and I'm not sure why.
Because that first Italian campaign's a fantastic. You know what I mean? It's very evenly balanced, and both sides have a lot of choices, and just nobody ever goes there.
Yeah, well, I'm trying. There's a couple different. There's like 3 different Zucker operational treatments of that campaign, and they all appear to be somewhat different. And I'm currently kind of trying to figure out which edition is which. There's like 2 different OSG versions, plus that little Avalon Hill mini game. And they're not, even though they look like they're the same subject, they're not the same. I mean, the one of the OSG versions has like 3 maps in it, which is huge.
Right.
And then the Avalon Hill one, of course, has that little tiny half-size map or quarter-size map. So
we are all right. Before we go, let me just remind myself here. They're such a big battle that we're doing. There are still reinforcements coming, so I gotta just remind myself of when that goes down. It's not, it's the 30th, right? So,
yeah, and you do need to decide what orders the reinforcements are coming in with too. I mean, in many cases they'll come in under March, but
yeah, that's for later, so that's okay. All right, so yeah, I have I do have something. So yeah, I mean, the whole world knows Smith gets here at noon. His first division, so they'll be under March. All right, so there, that decided that. So all right, so we are. Do I really want these guys under attack right now? That was Breckenridge. We're gonna pull his division.
Now,
out from
another
the
thing to remember is that we are still at half command range for this dusk turn. So anybody whose orders changed, bear in mind that they may be out of command. Make sure they're in command if you change their orders.
Yeah, I'm happier with this. We have some more futzing to do, but all the other guys we're attacking with are close enough where we've got to bear it in mind this turn. Okay, so you know what? We're just going to put the front echelon there in attack orders. All right. I have placed my orders.
Okay, I'm good too.
So we now go to the draw pool.
Which is your selected chit.
And flip. No big surprise. It's actually might be a surprise. It's Cheatham, not Claiborne.
Okay.
So Cheatham is first. So let's see here. Let's start with
All right, I believe at this point the stream is back online. I need to get back into the chat here, so bear with me, please. Sorry about that. It's a very annoying connectivity problem.
the reason.
I am back. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you fine.
Okay,
What
good.
did you-
I don't know. Internet connection dropped for no obvious reason.
All right, so Cheatham is done.
So, I appear to be desynced from the game. Okay. I'm not 100% sure. All right, I think we're good. So Cheatham's done, you said?
Cheatham is complete. Yes.
All right, very good.
For his first activation. So go ahead and draw.
All right. Breckenridge.
Breckenridge. Breckenridge is. I'm glad I put him under advance. So let's see. We need to scoochie you, Breckenridge.
Anyway, regarding the Compass interview with Joe Belkowski, that's a question that got asked of Joe at when we did the little designer developer seminar at Winter Offensive of what other topics that system could be adapted to handle. And the two that were specifically mentioned were Napoleonic, which I think would be very interesting to see, and American Revolution. Now, there's big differences in the way some of those things that are modeled by that system work in those different periods, specifically cavalry and artillery. So it's not quite as straightforward an adaptation as you'd want. Another problem is scale, and that's a problem that Zucker's run into, which is why that Campaigns of Napoleon series has like a 1x, a 2x, a 5x, different scales, because you have, if you look at the topics, the scales are quite different. Operationally, I mean, to handle the campaign in Russia, for example, obviously the scale is not going to work for the same treatment of that 1814 campaign in France, which kind of all takes place, or most of which takes place between the Marne and the Aube rivers. So, and in the sort of 50 miles or so immediately east of Paris. You have this huge hundreds of miles of area in Russia at that same time. So that's why a universal adaptation wouldn't necessarily work. Also, I mean, if you look at say the Danube campaign or the 1806-07 campaign in Poland, Silesia. Those don't necessarily fit with that same scale either. So, at any event, I look forward to trying the operational system and seeing how it works, because there's some interesting things going on in there too with the command points and the center of ops mechanism and that kind of stuff. Unfortunately for Napoleon at Bay specifically, and this is really true of the Habit of Victory too, which is the other one that I have, they're both pretty space hungry. Habit of Victory is only one map, but there's about another 2 maps worth of displays that need to get laid out. For Napoleon at Bay is a 2-map game, and there's about another 2 to 3 maps worth of displays that need to get laid out. I just don't have space for that. So, but there's always Vassal too, so.
No, I think we're. Gonna move these guys.
Why does that unit have 2 different leaders?
It just does.
Okay.
It's one of those. The brigade's got 2 brigade commanders, Palmer and Pillow. It's just the uniqueness of some of the, it's one of the things that makes the I forget if they were like a legion, you know what I mean?
Oh, that's possible. Yeah.
Right. Or if it was, because remember that it's going away by the Civil War, but it's still there. We're not in this age of like World War II and like, well, that's a regiment. Yeah,
Yeah, there's like those demi divisions that the Confederates used in places, for example, and a couple other odd formation sizes.
Well, and frankly, like, take a look at, like, even some of the divisions, right? So Claiborne's division is huge, right? But that's because it was all recruited in, like, Arkansas, et cetera. He was a local political leader who just happened to be a really good military commander, which wasn't always the case. So it's, it's the vagaries of, these volunteer units and et cetera. You find it actually a lot more, like in the Napoleonic Wars and in the Revolutionary Wars, and then things slowly get scrubbed towards standardization of military thought, but never really completely. But that's the deal. He made the decision that it's really Pillow's regiment, but Palmer was a big influence enough where 2 leaders, there you go. So because it's not a replacement, it's a leader. So anyway, let's now go to. I'm done.
All right.
With that, and I shall draw. Negley.
All right. Pretty sure Negley has stuff to do. He does. Not that. No, he's got stuff to do. Let's see here.
It's the way Zucker handles stuff. It's why I think Balkowski's done about as good as a job as you can, given the vagaries of the Civil War, to do these like a system. You know what I mean? These operational campaigns.
Yes.
But there's a reason that Zucker has done some of these titles like at different scales with completely different systems, and it's just you can't systemize a lot of this shit. For scale reasons,
yes.
Let alone a whole bunch of other things, and and unfortunately sometimes we have this hobby of system ditto heads, and it leads to things like it feels like it's a topic that we talk about every other session, right? System versus ground up, and where systems fall apart and how they fall apart. And one of the things I admire Zucker for is he's never let that happen. He'll recognize, like, I'm not going to put this in this way I did things. You know, he looks at them as more as ways of doing things.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, yeah, it's not going to work for this scale. And you know, they use these troop types a little differently in this era than this era. So I need to change things, you know, rather than the whole, you know, OCS from D-Day to 1945. All you need to know is how to truck your tea around, you know, you're good.
All right. Negley's done.
Negley is done. All right.
So I will pull a chit. McCown.
What shall I do with him? We are like, I might be in range.
You are in range in one place. Well, within range and in line of sight in one place.
Yes, and I think we are gonna we're gonna hammer away at that one artillery battery we can see with our artillery battery. Why not? Let us do that.
All right, so you're going to be firing canister. So you're firing on small arms. It's a +3. It's a 12-pound howitzer. It's a +3 for range, but unless I'm mistaken, there's a -2 for dusk.
You check.
I'll check. Might only be -1, so I'd rather check. It is -2 for any fire over 1 hex. So it's a net +1.
Here we go. Not much.
All right, so that's a 2 with a 6 is a D -1. So let's roll a D10. We are okay.
Okay. So.
Oh, I can return fire, so I will do so. These are Parrot 10s. Parrot 10s at 2 hexes are +2. So this is a straight up roll. 5. Okay, so that's low ammo for him. Low ammo roll is, by the way, the adjusted. It's not a natural 5 or 0 or 10. Yeah, it's an adjusted.
Quite aware.
Hold on. We do that. And then we have a 5. Small arms is a little D. So roll your efficiency. Or whatever that's called. Oh, he's going to fail probably.
He is stacked with the leader. So let's see if that makes a difference.
1 star plus, it's a -1 to the roll. So it does actually make the difference.
It does. So they're fine. Okay, so that, and I think... And you have to move before you fire, right?
For under attack orders? Hold on a second. Let me verify that. I don't think that's required, actually. Well, no, it doesn't actually make sense if it's not true, because there's a modifier on the fire if you moved. So,
I don't mean that guy. I mean the rest of the brigade.
Oh no! You do the units individually, so you can absolutely do the rest of them and move them.
Okay. Well, this would make me a really sneaky Pete. So no, he'll just be in range of 1. If he goes there, I'm in range of a whole lot of stuff. Nope. We're not doing that. All right, so that's it for that brigade.
Even when we're talking about Civil War, I mean, there are some differences in some of the ways that those campaigns are handled, right? So, a situation like Vicksburg or Petersburg or something like that are subjects that haven't been handled by the Great Campaigns series yet. And there's a couple of reasons why. One is obviously the excuse they keep giving is that they need to work more on the maps, that their quality maps are harder to find. And I'm prepared to believe that, but it's also a very different kind of topic, right?
So first of all, let me just say this. That first part is bullshit.
Well,
but continue.
I'm taking their word for it at this. And,
I'm not, because I'm familiar with the map sources. But okay. Continue.
Well, yes. In any case, there are also, there's a siege involved in both cases. So I'm real curious to see what we get when we have a Petersburg module in the next volume that's coming out after Hood Strikes North.
So if you think about it, see that's kind of at that scale of bullshit excuse as well. So sieges don't matter, right? All it means is you've got a standoff.
Yeah.
Think about the scale. All right.
Well, yes.
You've got a standoff. Because of fortifications, I can't really attack because it's going to bloody the crap out of me, right? And the other guy can't get himself out.
Right.
So what they really need to do is just come up with some rules for gunboats and naval transport, and they could easily do the Vicksburg campaign.
Yeah.
And I know for a dead cert, because I've seen sources, etc. Maps that they would need for scale are there. What's happened is they've just gone east, baby.
Well,
and you can see it from their treatments, right? Only recently they said, yeah, we need to do the west more. And because I also know that for like 15 to 20 years longer, right? Sources have been available for Shiloh and Chickamauga.
Mm-hmm.
What they are, I know that team, those guys are in Virginia.
That's true.
Right? Okay, so that's what's going on. But in terms of that, like in the system itself as it exists now, right? If you just had something beyond, I forget what it's called, the field fortifications you can make, right? You just up it a little bit where it's even more deadly for the attacker.
Mm-hmm.
You're done. So what you have is you got some divisions that are sitting around, right?
Yeah.
We're facing off. In fact, they kind of do that already in Chattanooga.
They do that in the a little bit of that in Grant Takes Command as well. So
right.
So yeah, I mean it's just it's not quite the same, and they have to develop a little bit of additional infrastructure to deal with the idiosyncrasies of those campaigns. It's not unhandleable by any means.
Right. Now there are other things that would like if I was taking on that job of doing that design, that would concern me more, right? Which is there's significantly different terrain types going on.
Yeah.
And so how do you take those into consideration? You'd really have to crawl into the primary sources. It's what you and I talk, like you've really got to do if you're going to make a good game and not just a quickie, right? Or just a square peg in a round hole. You've also got to take a look at all right, so in this terrain type, that's where you go back to your primary sources. How difficult was it moving different types of artillery in
right.
Am I going to, because I'm not just going to have a swamp terrain type, right? There's going to be all sorts of different at scale there. And even in this system, if you did something like Champions Hill or Vicksburg, right? You're going to have to get into the granularity of the terrain and what the terrain can do and that kind of stuff. And that's more of a terrain analysis thought, which isn't just, I always say it's not just about maps, right? It's about maps and then going back and reading accounts about how troops dealt with that terrain.
Right.
How did it impact them? When I did a hot, dry season, I couldn't have, if I had sat down after I'd hexed out the map area and just done the terrain first,
mm-hmm.
I would have had to go back and redo 1,000 things because of my standard, because if I hadn't already been very familiar with unit reports and individual reports of of what the terrain was doing to them.
Right.
So because that's going to inform how you quantify it, right? Okay. So anyway, all right. So that's that. I'm done. McCown's done after that lecture, and we're not going to do anything else really right now with McCown. fire that artillery piece. So I guess I draw a. It is another red. It is March.
Do you have
No one
anybody
is
under
under
March?
March.
All right.
No, I don't. So you may pull.
Hold on.
Just undo. Yeah.
Cleburne.
This is where we're. What? Remember what did they used to say in the Real World TV show? This is when it starts being, stops being whatever and starts getting real. It's going to start getting real now.
Yeah.
So,
well, I figure Cleburne's going to move forward to it, do shock attacks.
So let's see here.
Now, here's where the sequencing becomes important, unless you're going to try to do brigade coordination or something, because there will be opportunities for return fire or withdrawal fire as you advance.
Right. So here's the first move. So right now, he's not in sight.
Correct.
So there's going to be no withdrawal fire. It's like they're going to appear out of the mist.
Yes, for that first hex. But if I'm assuming they're probably going to advance 2 hexes. Moving
Correct.
out of that second hex, there will be an opportunity for withdrawal fire.
Right. So these guys are going to go there.
Okay, there's no withdrawal fire for that move.
Now they are going to move here.
There is. All right, so
Now, for those watching at home, I was very particular with that because I didn't want flank fire from it. So, right? So
that
I
makes
just want to point
sense.
that out to people, right? So if I'd moved here first, when I moved again, right?
Yeah,
I'm going to get flank fire.
Could have gotten flank fire at 2. All right.
Right.
So we do have, however, 3 units that are going to take the. Is it 3? So the second hex is that hex.
Boom. So it's about visibility to that hex. Right.
Yeah. Yes. Correct. That had hex 20. What is that? 2920. That's the hex that is getting shot into. So 2 artillery units are going to shoot into that hex. We'll start with this Parrot 10 right here.
Okay.
And that's going to be Parrot 10's at, it's -2, right, for the dusk conditions. But Parrot 10s at 2 hexes are +2. So these are both, and they're both Parrot 10s, so they're both going to be even up rolls. So we'll roll for 1. And that's going to be a 1 on they're disorganized. Poop. How did that even happen? Well, I guess it's this Parrot 10 then, which is 6. 1 is going to be a D-2, so give me a D-2 on that guy.
All right. So we've got, it's the top unit.
Yeah, you can't even fail this, actually.
Yeah, you're right. D-2. Yeah, because it's my target is what, the 7, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So actually, you should be moving. I'm pretty sure you should be moving those units individually and not in a stack.
Okay, so that's the move.
Okay. So, well, you can't fail the roll. Let me check something on withdrawal fire. Just a second. Or non-phasing fire. Okay. So, and I can each individual unit can use withdrawal fire once per brigade activation. So right now you're activating Woods Brigade. So that Parrot 10 cannot shoot again.
Okay.
But the guys with the riflemen can shoot too. So that rifle 17th Ohio underneath the Parrot 10s that just shot, we'll shoot with him. Now let's do it with this guy. This is the...
Don't they have to be on top to shoot?
Oh, actually, that's true. Well, that's okay. I was actually going to shoot with this guy anyway. So that's rifles at 2 hexes. That's a +1, -2, so net -1 on that. Okay, so that's a 5, which puts him at low ammo. It's Alt-X to do that. Okay. And with 6, that's a D+1. So give me a D+1 for him.
He's
so
fine.
he is fine. All right, so that's that.
No more fire.
I have no more fire against that unit, no.
Okay. So I'm gonna do this. Constantly be undoing these move strings because they're very handy and important right now.
Yeah, but you'll tangle them up too if you just keep them all on.
Right. So this guy's going to move into the same hex,
Okay.
following him, and he's going to be at the bottom.
Okay, that's fine.
All right. So that's that.
Okay.
Here comes wood. Wood is going to go there, which now comes the withdrawal hex. Boom. So you're shooting at. I moved them funky. Hold on.
I do not have another shot.
Okay. So I just want to do them according to Hoyle here.
Yeah.
I like the move strings are great for this purpose. So let's see here. Shift. Yeah. These guys are going to go there.
Okay.
And then there.
Okay.
So yeah, you shot with everybody who can shoot at that one hex.
At that hex, that's correct.
They're safe, right? And then everybody else we're just going to follow through. It kind of doesn't matter now because these guys are making the same move.
Mm-hmm.
Follow me?
Yeah,
right.
as long as I assume you got, are those all fours? Ooh, okay,
They are,
quite small
yeah.
units. All right, very good. With muskets too, no less.
Yes. So that is that. Now these brigades, I forget.
Are you firing with any of them?
I think I probably should, and then shock combat comes afterwards. It's brigade by brigade, right?
It goes down literally down the line.
Okay, so my point is this: per each brigade activation,
Mm-hmm.
you move, you fire, shock attack, and then the next brigade starts up, right?
That's correct.
All right.
And you could go either way. I mean, if you want to go right to left or left to right, that's cool.
Right,
but just pick one or the other and do it that way for that whole attack.
All right, so the 36 Alabama is going to open fire on the artillery that is not disrupted because I have to shoot at the top guy,
Can
right?
you shoot and shock, I guess is my question.
Check it out and let me know.
Give me a second.
Pretty sure you can based on what I remember from our tryout scenario.
Yeah, I think you can. I think there's a modifier for that.
Yeah, so there's a minus basically if you fire
because you moved.
Right. So let's see here. Yeah.
All right. So pick a unit to shoot first.
Okay. 14th Alabama is going to shoot at the artillery there that they're adjacent to.
16th Alabama, this one?
Yep.
Okay, that's fine. All right, so you're shooting, and you can only shoot 7 firepower out of a hex at a time. So you're shooting,
and I can only shoot with the top guy. So it's 6.
So it's 6. Well, it's the same column. So it's 6 at 1 hex, and they have rifles. So that's a +1. So you're at 6 +1, and you're at 1 hex. So you're not taking that -2.
Correct. So I'm at a. What is my net modifier?
+1.
+1.
Wait, let me check. Let's check this. No, that's pretty much it. +1.
+1. And how could I do prepare fire?
Let me check that because that's a fussy rule. Prepared fire. Reduced range, DRM benefit. Prepared fire may only be used by phasing, non-moving, non-disordered infantry under attack.
Non-moving.
Yeah, so you can't move. If they had not moved, you could have claimed the prepared fire modifier.
Right. Okay, so it's a +1.
+1 on the 6.
Here we go. Ooh.
That's a one big D. They are low ammo from that, though. All right, so this unit becomes disorganized, so it loses. Let's see here. Guess we got to get a marker here. Do I have? I do. Okay. So that's that result.
Okay. So now the next unit firing is going to be the 31st Alabama, and they're going to shoot at the other artillery unit.
That's out of this. The hex under wood.
Yep.
All right, it's 33rd Alabama, but okay. Okay, and this unit's disordered already.
Right.
All right, so you're 6, and he is muskets, which is a +2 at 1 hex. So you're at D +2.
D +2. No modifier for you being disrupted?
No, well, the modifier happens on the second disruption.
Okay, so +2. Here we go. A 5.
All right, he's low ammo. That's a D +1. So let's roll it and see if he's second disorder. Little D +1, I should say. He fails, so he does take a second disorder. So second disorder is going to lose 1 strength point. So let me pull out another strength point marker.
They are indeed screaming the rebel yell.
And he's going to retreat 1 to 2 hexes. So we're going to put him here. And that's that.
Okay. So now cometh the shock attack. So where to shock attack?
Well, you have to. If you're shocking at all, you have to shock everybody you're facing. So you're going to have to do 2 separate shocks, and each of them is going to be split 2 ways. So sequencing becomes important.
So let me see. Huh. Wood's brigade is not the brigade for the shock attack, so we will leave it at that.
Okay, so there's not going to be shock attack for them?
No, because I have to. So what you're saying is, basically, if you shock, you have to soak out.
Yeah, so you have to say you have to split this shock attack to these 2 targets, and you'd have to split this shock attack between these 2 targets. So you'd be at a net, maybe not a big modifier necessarily, but you'd be at a net manpower penalty for both attacks. Now, on the other hand, well, there's also pre-shock fire, which you'd have to contend with. So maybe not shocking is not a bad idea.
Right. So we're going to move on now to Liddell's brigade.
Okay.
Move 1.
Okay.
Move 2.
All right. So we're going to take the shot with this guy. It's going to be rifles at 2 hexes, which is a +1. Is that right? Rifles at 2 hexes is +1. -2 for the 2 hexes at dusk. So we're at a net -1 on this roll. And we have a 7. And we're doing 7 out. That's a big D. They disorganize.
Flip. All right. And
I think they'll stay in that first hex, that second hex. Because
right
that's
there?
where they're
Okay,
getting
yeah.
shot at, right there.
Right. Then these guys are going to go. Whoop.
Okay. I can take that shot with them against 92nd Ohio. Can shoot. This is going to be their rifles as well, so it's going to be exactly the same thing. Net -1. We have a 4. That is a... All right.
What?
I think we're back on. I lost connection again. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you
All
fine.
right, I can hear you. All right, so that stack with Liddell in it,
okay. You're right.
because I can't when they're leaving hex 3121, I can shoot at them with the guy under Wagner.
Right.
We'll take that shot. So this will be the first of those units that moves. Okay.
Right. This guy.
Okay, that's fine. All right, so we'll take the shot. Okay, that's nothing.
Okay, and then the other guys can't. Nobody can shoot at them.
That's correct.
Because of how I'm moving.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, and boom, there we are. All right, so that's Liddell.
Uh-huh.
Liddell is done moving, and let's see here. Is anybody green? The first 8th Arkansas on the left there is going to shoot at the 15th New York, it looks like.
All right, sorry. What I was reconnecting the chat. Who's shooting what?
For 8th Arkansas on my left-hand guy is shooting at 15 New York. Your guy the 15th New York. You're 955.
This guy. Okay, gotcha.
All right. So I have rifles. We're at point blank.
You want to use muskets. Muskets are better at 1 hex than rifles are.
But it looks like I have rifles. It says R.
So you're talking, well, yeah, but why not shoot with 2nd Arkansas instead? Because they have muskets and are at +2 instead of +1.
Oh, I will shoot with them, but I'm not going to shoot.
And they're on top.
No.
You're talking 8th Arkansas. All right, you're talking about the other hex. That's cool. That's cool.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
And you're shooting at which one? This one or this one?
15th New York.
15th Indiana. Okay.
Indiana. Okay. So I've got.
So
I am
that's
at
+1. You're net +1 for this.
net +1. I am 8, which is. Does that matter on the table? No. Here we go. A 9.
All right. So 9 is 1 big D. So let me put a thing out here. Okay.
And so you were automatically disrupted, or no? Or
Big
what
D
happened?
is an automatic disruption, yes.
Oh, you flipped him?
Yeah, see the little D on him now?
I'm looking. Yeah, I see it. It's hard to see. Okay. So that's that. And it's for one fire. And let's see these guys. Yep, and indeed, like you said, the the second Arkansas is going to open up on the same guys.
Okay. And this is a net +2.
Correct. And
I can return fire, though. Who can return fire? They both did their non-phasing fire for this brigade activation, so they actually can't.
Right. So +2. Here we go. A 6.
That's going to be a D +2. So let's see what happens. They fail. So they're going to take a second disruption, which means that they're going to lose another strength point and retreat 1 to 2 hexes. They'll go right here.
And do I wish to shock attack? This time I might. Yeah, it feels like something I might want to do next activation. So we will hold off. Maybe. Guy's really tempting there.
Yeah, John Longshore, I thoroughly disagree that miniatures are better. But your mileage may well vary, and that's fine.
I 100% agree with you, Gary. Miniatures are fun.
There's nothing wrong with playing with miniatures. Or as I like to think of them, the little dolls.
Right.
But
and everything I talk about, like systemitis, add that on like 1,000% to the miniatures.
Oh, that's potentially a thing too. Yeah. So like the Labatt syndrome, where there's 17 different versions of the rules. That's definitely something that miniatures suffer from, generally speaking, more than
right.
Or historical miniatures anyway.
Right. And you're square pegging into round holes with miniatures. Yep. I'm not a miniature. I like miniatures.
Sure.
But I like to this day. I say my favorite World War II system though is Frank Chadwick's Command Decision.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let me see. Do I want to do a shock attack or not?
You have a good opportunity for shock attack. You guys under Liddell, so let's just talk this through here. So you got 14 strength points in this hex under Liddell, okay, and a leader, which will help. You would be shocking against the unit under Wagner, which is 7. So you'd have a 2-to-1, which would give you a +2 on the shock.
The problem is I'd have to do a shock against your 9 strength guy with my 8 strength guy.
We're talking about different hexes.
So you do shock
you're coming in,
hex by hex.
Yeah, you're going in with all of them. That's the advantage of having that built-up hex, right?
Oh, right. See, I thought it was just like the whole brigade had to do a shock, but it's just the stack. So yeah, we're absolutely going to shock attack that guy with 2-to-1. Here we come.
Okay, so let's go through the thing. Okay, so you got it's 1 hex against 1 hex, so that's simple. I can elect to retreat before shock, but I'm not going to. I am instead, and I'm not green. Well, you're not green, so that's not going to take. And I need to make a pre-shock cohesion check, which is a 6. So he is okay. Now I get a pre-shock fire, which is rifles at 1 hex for a +1. Let me see if there's any other modifiers for that. I can claim prepared fire for this. So that's a +2. And that's it. So it's a D +2. So we have an 8. 7 factors with an 8 is a 1 little d plus 2. So you're going to lose a strength point out of either unit. It doesn't matter. But it's your call. And then you're going to make a disorder check for both units at plus 2.
Boy, I hate doing this. Hold on, clone. The biggest pain in the ass.
It's a pain in the nuts.
Right.
It's not that bad handling. This is one of those things where, for this particular implementation, the counter management is really a kind of a headache over and above what it would be for physical pieces.
Right.
I do not hate miniatures. I'm on record as not hating miniatures. I might gently mock miniatures. That's fine. And I was into miniatures for a long time. But I've just it's kind of its own hobby, and I don't have room for it. I don't have the physical room, I don't have the financial room, and I don't have the mental room to invest in another hobby.
And as I've said before, I like miniatures. It was part of my life and part of my hobby. What I will say is it's worse than board games in terms of square peg, round hole, trying to push things into a system.
Sure.
Right. So then board games, far more, having played both extensively. So, all right. So here we go. All right. So that's that. And I got to do
You're going to make 2. Check. Yeah, on each unit. You make 1 check for each unit.
Okay.
And it's a plus 2. But it's a minus 1 because you got the leader. So it's a plus 1.
All right. So I'm going to be checking on the top guy.
Okay.
So here we go.
He's fine.
And then the bottom guy, he's fine.
Okay, so they're both fine. All right, so in that case, we do the shock DRMs. So shock adjustment, you're going to get a plus 2 for having a 2 to 1. Defender is not disordered. You can't claim the charge because you fired.
Right.
Is Liddell aggressive? He is aggressive, so that's worth a plus 1. So you're at plus 3. And everything opens, so it's a plus 3. So we roll. All right, so this is Defender retreats. Defending unit retreats 2 hexes, is disordered, and then undergoes an additional UDD. If it fails, it routes. All right, so we're going to retreat 2. We'll do it in order here because that's important. So we'll retreat 2 hexes. Come on, retreat 2 hexes. Disorder, and then do an additional UDD, which is at a -1 for Wagner. So that's okay. And so it doesn't route.
Okay. And
you must advance.
Boom.
Okay. Let me check how that works. Hold on. 1147. Okay, possible result of shock is the ability of the attacker or the defender to continue shock by attacking again, or in the case of the defender, counterattacking. In the following cases, continued shock is mandatory. All non-artillery defenders rout, which didn't happen, and any defending artillery are abandoned, which didn't happen. The adjusted shock roll is 8 or higher. So you must continue shock.
We're going to shock into wood.
Well, you have to shock everything. That's the thing. You have to shock both that 40th Indiana and, well, you don't really shock Wood. He's kind of involved. And he may end up displacing.
So
because he's by himself.
We're going to shock the Indiana guys.
Okay. Now, in this case, you're not at 2 to 1. You're at plus 1. You're at 1.5 to 1. Okay. All right, so we have the shock. Retreat before shock. We're not going to do that. Green attacker commitment, which doesn't apply. Pre-shock cohesion. Green unit will be at -1, but they have rifles, so they'll be at +1. They can claim prepared fire, so that's +1, but -1 because they're green. So it's a net +1 fire on that hex. So that's a 4. That's a little D. So give me a little D on each unit.
Top guy,
He's fine.
bottom guy.
He's fine. All right. So now for the shock itself, you're going to be
here, you little greenies.
plus 1, plus 2 for the aggressive leader. That's it. Plus 2.
Nothing for you being green?
Not for this, no.
Okay, so it's a plus 2. Here we go. 4.
4. Bloody standoff. Each side loses 1 strength point. Total. That's not per unit, so you just do a strength point loss somewhere. And is disordered. Both sides are disordered. Everything's disordered. Oh, and so if more than 1 unit is involved on one side, apply the loss to the unit with the highest cohesion.
Didn't matter. All right, it's a good day for Liddell. And now...
Oh, and we have to... yeah, actually, that's true. You need to make 2 leader loss checks for Liddell. I need to make 1 for Wood.
What? So, what's the number I don't want?
You don't want... What's that number? You don't want a 9, actually.
All right, so number 1, number 2.
Okay, so he's fine. Let me double check that works the way I think it does. Hold on. Make sure it's not a 0.
John Longshore, I would never play with somebody that was like that. Why? You know, is he doing it because he's a typical autistic or almost autistic wargamer, or is he just that's how it is? I've broken company with stuff like that before, but what I usually do, I don't tell them why. I just, the best way to do it is just be busy or make an excuse.
Okay, the 0 he is killed.
Okay.
So flip him over. I believe that's a change from a previous version of the rules. And let's check for Wood. He is fine.
All right. Well, we lost Liddell. And you can't make an omelet without breaking some eggs. So let's come in here now. And
he did some damage, though. So that was not a total wash.
Let's see here. You get some fire. You there?
Yeah, I'm here. All right.
So
so we're going to get
fire.
from a couple. We'll shoot with the cannon. That's parrot 10s. They'll be at +2, so that is a straight up roll. So that's a 6. D +2. So give me a D +2. He is fine.
He's fine. All right. So he ends up there. Get another shot.
Not with the parrot 10. Let's see here. Hold on.
You're going to get it with...
I'll get it with the infantry underneath.
Right.
They have rifles.
They can't shoot because they're behind.
Oh, yeah. Well, no, these guys, these green guys in the woods can shoot.
Right. That's yes. Yes.
All right. So this is going to be -2 for the dusk, -1 because they're green, and +1 for rifles at 2 hexes, right?
Right.
Yeah, so net -1, -2. So this is kind of a garbage shot. But 4 is not too bad. That's a little D. So he's fine.
And then lastly, these guys will go here.
Okay, and nobody else can shoot.
Right. And now... these guys are going to go here. And... I think what we did last turn is what we should do this turn. So
Okay, so let's talk about that real quick.
I'm thinking about actually just doing a straight up shock attack.
So if you don't fire and you just shock, you can claim the charge benefit, which is another +1 on the shock resolution.
Yeah. So that's what we're going to do. The first stack is just going to shock the artillery.
Okay, so they're shocking the hex that the artillery is in.
Right.
So we're talking about that hex that has 15th Arkansas on the top?
Right.
Okay. So you're going to have 12 versus 6 in the artillery. The artillery has a combat value. Hold on. I got to check this because this is another thing that changed. I think we use like half of the artillery's value or something like that. All right. So we've designated the shock. We retreat before shock, which we're not going to do. Green attacker commitment. None of your attackers are green, correct?
No. What does it say about how the artillery contributes its strength? For
that's what I'm looking for, and I'm having trouble finding it.
Because before I declare...
Oh, here it is. It's 1/4. So add 1 strength point for every 4 guns in the hex. So, but we got other stuff to do here. So the first thing we do is retreat before shock, which we're not going to do. No green. None of the attackers are green. Now we have to do a pre-shock cohesion check. Now both of these guys have to do that. Okay.
Now, well, I needed to know that number because it changes how I'm going to go about doing this. So, the bottom unit underneath Polk is going to attack with that other stack because I want to make sure I get 2 to 1. So this guy is joining the shock against your artillery stack.
Okay.
You follow me? Follow me? Right. So now proceed.
Okay, so we're going to do the pre-shock. Well, it may not matter, but you should have designated that. So essentially, that artillery, if that artillery unit ends up participating, and it might not, then it's going to contribute 1 factor.
Right. That's why. And it was important. That's why I was waiting because I want to. Right. I want to because I would have 2 to 1 if it didn't matter, but if he stays, I won't have 2 to 1. I want 2 to 1. So yes. So
right.
That's why.
So the thing is that everybody needs to attack, though. So you're going to actually use both of those hexes anyway.
Right. The other hex, the rest of the guys are going to attack your green unit.
Everybody in that hex is going to attack both units. It's just the only difference is the order.
Right. So the order is we're attacking the artillery first, and it's going to be with everybody in the left stack and the bottom guy in the right stack.
You're going to use both stacks. Both stacks are going to contribute. This works out to your benefit. So here's what's if we do it in this order. Here's what's going to happen. Both of these stacks attack this stack, and then we apply whatever results. And then this stack, the whole stack, attacks this stack.
I gotcha. Okay. Yeah. All right.
Everybody shocks everybody in the front.
Gotcha. So that's 13. So I've got 25. Okay.
All right. So I'm going to roll top to bottom for pre-shock cohesion. So the artillery got a 3, and the bottom guy's got a 1. So they're both okay. Now we're going to take pre-shock reaction fire. I'm going to shoot at the hex that Polk is in with both units. They can both do this. So we're going to do 6. Parent 10s at 1 hex is a +2. That's pretty much it, is a +2. So
don't forget the minus for dusk.
There's no minus. It's only 1 hex. The minus is at 2. Is it greater than adjacent? We got a 5, which of course is going to be low ammo again.
And the result
is a little d. Little d +1. So everybody under, the top unit under Polk needs to take a little d.
He rolled a 0. He's fine.
All right. And he's a +1 for Polk. So, all right. And then the other guy with his 6 firepower of rifles, which is a +1, so it's a net +1. We got a 3. That's a little d.
Shooting at the same guy?
Yep.
All right, here we go. So I got a +1. I got a -1.
+1, -1, yeah.
He's fine.
Okay. It's cool how you roll 0 every time for morale and 9 every time for attack.
I'm loving it. So
right.
So now I have 25 attacking that hex. You've got
7. That
7.
is 3 to 1.
Right.
So that's worth a +3.
Charge bonus.
Charge is worth a +1. The leader is not aggressive. That's it. So
+4.
+4, yeah.
Here we go. A 10.
All right, that's defending unit retreats 2 hexes. The artillery is just going to be destroyed, just so you know.
Oof.
All right. Retreats 2 hexes, is disordered, and then goes an additional UDD. So we'll retreat. Let me flip him. He's going to retreat to be under Wagner here. Let me roll the UDD. 3, he is actually okay. He's not overstacked there. And you must, must advance, and you must continue shock.
So I have to shock the other guy first, though, right? The green guy?
No. You do it in order. So somebody has to advance, right?
Boom.
Okay. So now you shock the other guy.
And everybody has to continue shock. All right. So
the only one in your front is Wood here. Let me check that. To see how that actually works.
Wood looks up from his breakfast, and there's like a half Confederate regiment coming for him.
What the fuck? I'm trying to find the rule on this. I'm having trouble with the rule book today for some reason. He may just displace. He may make a casualty check, and then if he passes, displace. But I'm trying to find that.
There's no displace showing up in the rules even. Let's see here.
Okay. If under any circumstances a leader not stacked with friendly units finds himself adjacent to an enemy unit, which is the case, which would have been the case last time, the leader is immediately placed with the nearest friendly combat unit he can reach. So Wood's going to end up just going back here.
Okay.
This is 12.73. All right.
Right.
So
that guy doesn't have to. That stack doesn't have to continue shock. There's nobody to shock.
Yes, exactly. He's done. Now you do the 1 hex will go against that guy in the woods.
Right.
All right, and you're going to have, what is that, another 12, 13 in this case, 13 to 8, which is not going to be a +1. 13 to 8 is 1.5 to 1. Okay. All right, so
is that a +1 for that?
It is a +1, yeah. Well, if we get there. So, retreat before shock, which we are not going to do. Green attacker, no. Pre-shock cohesion. He's fine, believe it or not. Pre-shock reaction fire, which will shoot at that hex. He's going to be, he's rifle, so +1, but he is green, so -1. So it's a straight up roll.
Against the top guy.
Against the top guy. 6. That is a D +2.
All right.
So D +1. He's fine. Okay. So now we go to the shock. So you're at +1 for odds. You're at +1 for charge. You're not stacked with an aggressive leader.
Nope.
And you're at -1 for woods. So you're at net +1.
Here we go. 6.
So 6. Is a defender retreat. Defender unit retreats 1 hex and is disordered. We'll retreat here and flip. And you advance.
May I continue shock?
You may not.
Oh, I'd love to. All right.
Yeah, you would want to. And had you rolled an 8, net 8 or higher total, then you would be obliged to continue shock.
Okay. Oh, I feel bad for the poor guys. Who's that? The 676. I can't see them.
Yeah, that's they were just 64th Ohio. Now they're like there's a giant ass, half a brigade on their flank.
They're like, what? All right. So
they may be able to rotate 1 hex side before a shock, but
let's see.
That's Polk's brigade.
So Claiborne. Let's go with Johnson here. Yeah, I don't think you got anybody you can shoot at me, really. Put that actually here.
Yeah, John Longshore, it sounds like you got to find a different play partner, to be blunt. Guy sounds like a cock. I'm behind on the chat because YouTube has disconnected me from the chat, so I have to have another window open to see the chat. It's irritating.
All right, so on this activation, the guy's stacked with Claiborne.
Okay.
Actually, I believe they're going to fire because they what happened is they in fact I'm going to organize this completely differently because I've got the movement to do so and I want a better unit in there. This is going to be the situation. These guys are going to hang out there. These guys are going to go there. These guys are going to go there. And so the guys with Claiborne, as I said, they can see you, but when they advanced, you could not see them. So they are going to shoot at somebody. And I think the people we want to shoot at are actually, I believe, this Ohio unit. I believe, are we in your arc?
Nope.
We're not.
I am out of your arc.
So it goes from the point of the hex. Is that where the arc starts?
Yeah. Hold on. Let me verify that.
Because if it's from the hex edge, you're in my arc. I got flanking fire on you. That's who we'd prefer to shoot at, but, we'll shoot at the other guy if we got it. I bet you it's in the firing example. basics of fire.
No,
I'll say that
I'm out of your arc.
you are.
Yeah, for this unit that's under Cleveland.
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, I see. Boop, boop, boop. Yeah, because it shows the spread there. I knew it. Yeah,
It's on page
yeah, yeah. It's the very
20.
beginning of Fire Combat.
Yeah,
I really like the graphics for that. That's awesome. So, all right. So we're gonna shoot at the other guy who's disrupted.
should be on the player aid. But that is the kind of thing where you really should only ever need to look at it once, you know?
Right, right.
All right, so
boom.
you're going to shoot at this guy. You probably want to shoot at this guy anyway, to be honest about it. Okay. All right. So you're at 2 hexes with what?
Believe they have muskets.
Okay, muskets at 2 hexes is -1. And you're at
All right.
-2 for dusk at greater than adjacent. So you're
it's a minus-
net -3.
Here we go. Zero. Nothing.
You're at 7. That might not be nothing. That's a D -2, but you're low ammo too. Woof. Okay, he is okay, barely.
All right, and that is it for Johnston. That is it for Claiborne.
I'll point out that battery that you have in the back. I don't know if you want to move him or not, but you can if you want to.
So the problem we can shoot over friendlies.
You can shoot over friendlies, but I think if you're shooting like into if there's adjacent, let me check that. Then that might be a problem.
Because we may indeed move his batteries, but Claiborne's batteries, but it depends on what you're looking up.
I thought there was some kind of penalty or something to shoot at an adjacent unit, at a target that's adjacent to a friendly unit. I thought there was something about that, but I could easily be thinking of some other game system, to be completely honest.
So you can shoot over friendly units.
You can absolutely shoot over friendly units.
All right, so we're under attack orders though, but you know what? Why not? And it lets us do a facing change. Oh, other way. And
See what happens when we take a week off.
we played last weekend.
Did we play last weekend? Yeah, I'm thinking of the other game.
It's all we played. Everything else has been Etch-a-Sketch this week, but that. So let's see. This guy, I don't think he can move. And this guy can't move, but that guy sure could. And the other guy sure could. So that's that. We are done with Claiborne. Do you need to take a break before we draw the next one, or
Nope, drop. Go ahead and drop.
flip? Another Confederate. Withers.
Oof. Okay, that's ugly.
All right. I need to take a break, so I'll be back in
All
like 5. I gotta go to the
Well,
bathroom.
I might as well take a quick whiz as well then. So let me put up the thing, which is working, and we'll be right back. All right. Let me fix this thing. Look, things are looking pretty bad for that Union left flank, to be honest about it. There's definitely some stuff we can do here, but we need to get a chit to make it happen. And we'll see what happens. Well, that's cool. I got the chat fixed, so that's means I don't have to keep another window open. At least assuming I don't lose connection again. It is my thought that we are probably not going to get an entire turn done this session. Normally, we have been pretty much doing reliably a turn a week, but when you start getting into stuff where there's stuff happening, and there's shock attacks and things that have to be carefully sequenced and things like that, then this is going to slow down. On the other hand, those guys from Withers' brigade had their lines of sight blocked by the woods, and they're going to move half movement because they're in attack orders. So that means that they're going to move basically, except for maybe the guys on the road, they're going to move one hex. So I would call, by the way, if you didn't check it out, we did the Great Campaigns, the American Civil War event for the Armchair Dragoons Virtual Assembly last night, and that is on the channel now, so check that out. It is very much a learning game. We did the South, I keep wanting to say Stone Mountain, and it is obviously South Mountain. which I guess beats calling it Cedar Mountain, which I was also doing. It's not Cedar Mountain. It's South Mountain. It's the scenario we did, and I like that. I like that scenario as a learning scenario because it's real small. It's one turn. It is possible that it's going to teach you bad habits, but because it's one turn. But it's also as soon as you play a game with more than one turn, you're going to shake those bad habits.
I have returned.
Okay, we're ready to go. You're ready to go with Withers.
Withers is pretty easy.
Well, he's basically the way it looks is they're all moving up one hex.
Right. That's Withers. Right.
Now let me point something out here. In hex number 3525, you have an artillery unit in the woods. Artillery unit entering the woods automatically becomes disordered.
Right, that happened,
and he undisordered. Okay.
Yes. That all occurred ages ago.
Okay, cool.
Right. So let's go to. Boom.
I also got the chat fixed while you were gone. So, on my side, the chat's been working fine for viewers, but for me, it has not been working since we lost connection.
And these guys are under advance orders, so the back row.
Okay.
So, let me see here. Boom. I think that's might be it for Withers. Let me see if I want to do anything with this artillery that's... Yeah, I'm going to do that. And that is it for Withers. Withers was easy. Withers is done.
I will draw. Breckenridge.
I got to separate these piles here. All right, so Breckenridge did nothing the first turn. What is Breckenridge going to do now? Let me look at him.
Well, I had a crap load of chits in the cup this time. I don't know why you've drawn 10 and I've drawn 1 so far.
You got me, man. It's the vagaries of the chit draw. Don't know what to tell you. Yeah, why not?
Incidentally, I believe that the game sale has concluded for now. Although there's talk of me inheriting somebody's pile of old games, so I might do it again. But for the moment, I'm done. If anybody's interested in a copy of Imperium Romanum 2, let me know, though. I think I didn't finish clipping Imperium Romanum 3, but I think I needed to be done with it for a while. I bought a secondhand copy, which is missing, as far as I could tell, 1 counter. It's Attila the Hun, hilariously enough. Which is not a huge deal. I can replicate the counter if it comes to that, and of the 50-some scenarios in the game, only 1 that uses Attila. So I decided that for the price, I was not totally displeased by that.
It's a nice way to phrase it. Not totally displeased. Not happy.
Well, like I said, it only affects one of the enormous number of scenarios. So, there's actually a night fire modifier. This might have been removed from the latest version of the rules because it's on the Dead of Winter player aid card. -10 night fire at 4 hexes or more. It's like, man, just don't shoot at more than 3 hexes, really.
All right, Breckenridge has moved, and there's nobody to fire at. So that is it for Breckenridge. I shall draw.
Please.
Well, guess what?
Cheat 'em.
Cheat 'em. So, Cheatham gonna be able to do anything this turn. He's gonna move, but the question is, will he be able to attack?
John Longshort, have I given you an invitation to the Discord server? If not, let me know and I'll send you one.
Okay, so here, we're in important reaction fire land now.
Same to you, Simo.
Here we go.
All right. Okay, go ahead. Proceed. All right.
Boom.
We are totally taking that shot. Artillery, 26 Pennsylvania Artillery is going to shoot 6L is 6-pound smooth bores at 2 hexes is +2, -2 for the dusk. 2 is a D-1. So give me a D-1 on the unit.
Barely made it.
He made it. Okay. Proceed.
You don't have an op fire.
Yes, I do.
Who?
This guy right here.
Oh, the other artillery backup. Okay, cool.
Well, that might be the case too. No, artillery doesn't have another shot. This guy, what is this? 59th Ohio does. That's 6 factors of what? Old rifles at 2 hexes, so be at 0. We'd be at a -2.
Whoa. Which guy are you talking about?
The guy that's the 676 59th Ohio in that corner of the woods.
He can't see that guy.
He can absolutely see him in hex 3916. Yep.
Correct. He's right there.
And that's the hex he'd be shooting at. So it's a net -2, however. Ooh, look at that, though. It is a net -2. That's a big D.
He flips. He stays there. And then the last guy is going to finish up his move by going there.
Nothing I can do about that.
Right. All right. So, have any more reds? No more reds. All right. So, here we sit. Can the disrupted guy fire?
Yes.
All right.
But there is a -1 if he is disordered.
So he's going to shoot at the artillery.
Okay.
So we've got, looks to be rifles.
Rifles at 2 hexes is +1, but you're at -1 for being disordered, and -2 for 2 hexes at dusk. So -2 net. That's all right. It's a net 6 is a D +2, looks like. They will disorder.
All right, and so now the question is, everybody's going to attack somebody. So if we do a shock, we've just got to hit one of those hexes because that whole stack's got to go. So we're going to hit the.
Okay, so right now, the way the positioning works is this unit, this stack, hits both of these hexes at the same time.
Succession.
No, at the same time. It's one shock versus both hexes.
All right. So what we're going to do instead is fire.
Okay.
And we're gonna fire at the 59th Ohio. We've got 8 and muskets.
Okay, so that's the unit in the woods, right?
Right.
All right. So you're not taking the dusk penalty. You are taking a -1 for shooting into the woods. But if you're at muskets at 1 hex, it's +2. So that's a net +1. So 7 factors at net +1.
Here we go. 8.
That's a 1 little d +2. So this guy will make the roll, or fail the roll, as the case may be. He will lose a strength point. All right.
Okay. So that's it for what's his name? Stewart's Brigade. So now let's go up here and do Donaldson. Okay. And now Maney will step off.
So let me just show this to the chat, to the stream. So here's what's been drawn so far. You can see 8 Confederate chits have been drawn to 1 Union chit so far.
You can't make that shit up, can you?
Nope.
All right. 3.
And it's not like I didn't have. I mean, I got a bunch of 1s again for efficiency, but it's not like there's no chits in there. I put a big stack in.
All right, Cheatham is done.
All right, I think it's my draw.
Could be.
Random event. Roll a d10.
2.
No random event.
My draw. This is going to be a Union chit flip.
Palmer.
It is Palmer.
All right. Of course, Palmer's in the back. Of course. That's not entirely a bad development, however. So let's do this systematically here. 1, 2, 3, 4. One, 2, 3.
It looks like Kev is playing Desert Fox Deluxe. I think he's going to be pleasantly surprised. I think it's a far superior for the scale title to say DAC or Tunisia. For either
I've heard good things about it. It's not something I've picked up, but I've heard good things about it. That might be it for Cruft's Brigade.
Yeah, good move. With Palmer's trying to set up a new line. Yeah,
Pretty
that's a
much.
good move.
He was in position to do that. So for him to fill in that hole you just tore in the line. So all right, and they're a little more spread out than I would want them, but not irreparably so. So all right, very good. Palmer's done. I will draw a chit. March. Got guys under March. So let's see what's coming in. I think we're going to spend 2, I think. Let me see how that works out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 2 is going to be good. What's up with that? That's interesting.
What?
This counter doesn't seem to want to line up on the hexes.
Eh,
Yet another buggy thing with the module.
who was that? Johnston?
That was Johnson, yeah. All right, so that's it. He's my march is done.
All right, let's see.
I think it's your bro.
I shall.
Kenneth. Well,
I don't know what Kenneth could do. Kenneth's kind of good where he is.
Yeah, I mean, I may shift it down a little bit, but otherwise, that's basically it.
All right. You
Let
go
me
ahead.
let me make one tiny. There we go. All right. My draw. Davis. All right.
Davis had a shot, has one shot.
He has one shot. Parrot 10's at 2 hexes.
They're low ammo and they're disrupted.
They can't shoot if they're disrupted. So if they're disrupted, then I will take it as a rally action and undisrupt them.
Okay.
Give me a second here, because there's extra thinking that's going to be happening. All right, Davis is done.
Go ahead, your draw.
Now the exact opposite thing is happening. Kennett is going to pass. Go ahead and draw.
Fry.
Okay. Oh, Fry's totally shooting. Can I do a rally adjacent? I'm thinking I can't, but let me double check that.
Who is it? Fry that I've been taking the wood to this turn?
You have shot Fry up a little bit.
Or is it who have I been doing the blunt? Or is it wood that I've been really hitting hard?
It's been wood, actually.
Okay.
You hit the end of Fry as well.
Right.
I can't just disorder. I have to roll for this artillery. Okay, so the artillery's undisordered. All right, so let's do Walker's brigade will go first.
Okay.
And we'll do a rally attempt on the artillery. And he makes it. So the artillery's done.
And that's it for Walker?
No, that's it for that artillery unit. Everybody else can still go.
Can the
If you're about to ask if I can fire, yes, the answer is yes.
Oh no, I know that question.
With the rest of the units that artillery can't fire because that was its action.
Right.
All right, so we got a shot with 12th Kentucky on this hex right here.
Right.
It's going to be 7 factors of rifles, so that's a +1, -2 for the Dusk. So net -1. We've rolled a net -1, so that's nothing. We got another 7 coming out of this hex that's under Walker.
Right.
Exact same, assuming they're rifles. It's the exact same deal. They are rifles. So it's a 4. That's a little D. So give me a little D on that top unit. He's fine. Okay.
It's flanking fire, by the way, but
oh, it is flanking fire. Actually, hold on. That's worth a +1. All right, so that's going to do something a little different. It's going to be a D+1, so you're still going to be fine, but that does mean that exactly that this guy is low ammo.
I'm sorry I pointed out.
It happens. All right, and lastly, this guy is going to shoot, but he is adjacent. Now, he's low ammo because my guys are all low ammo.
Right. Well, I don't want to hear that complaint. I think we're both in that category.
So that's a +1. There's no -2, so it's just a +1. That's an 8. That's a 1 little d +2. So you'll lose a step.
Right. Let me roll. Failed. So he's got to retreat 1 to 2 hexes.
Nope, no. That's second disorder. He's not disordered right now. He loses 1 step.
And he's disordered.
And that's it.
All right, let me pull up the pain in the ass. Let me find somebody who's taken a loss somewhere. There we go. Oh, let me undo that. Clone. Oh, at least the number's already great. Disorder. All right. Anything else?
Not from Walker's brigade.
Okay.
And I'm not sure there's much else to do with Fry, but well, I could pull this guy up to the top and shoot with him, and I really should. So let's do that. So that's going to be 7 factors at a net +1 on the same unit that just disordered.
Got it.
So that's a 7. That's a big D. They're going to suffer a second disorder, so they're going to lose 1 more step and retreat 1 to 2 hexes.
And they're going to do that. When you retreat, can you change facing?
No, you retain facing.
Got it. Okay.
All right. So that was Walker. That's Steedman and Harlan. And I think that's it for Fry, actually. Yeah, I think that's it.
Do you want to save here?
Yeah, it's not a bad idea. I mean, we're not going to finish the turn.
No.
So
there's going to be a lot of fighting. All right.
Yeah, and we're going to... so this is actually a good time. Let me save. This is going to be turn 10. Middle turn 10. Action phase. Okay. Boy, this has been streaky chits. It's like, I drew 1, you drew like 8 in a row, then I've drawn 4 in a row, or 5 in a row, or 6 in a row. So, yay, Vassal Randomizer.
It went as well as I could have wanted it to go for the attack.
Yeah.
You know, you're gonna break some eggs and you're gonna take some losses. Guys are gonna get disrupted, but the overall results, I think I should be happy with them. I shouldn't complain.
Yeah, well, you should be concerned about all that mass on the Union right that's piling in there. There's a lot of mass headed in that Union, behind that Union right. An entire division came on this turn.
Right, so, which is why I have Breckenridge in reserve.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I knew I was going to start the attack this dawn turn, but Breckenridge is not under attack orders and under advance for reasons. with a Z. You know what I mean? That's just it. It's like, how's this? He needs to be able to react and see how it plays out, right?
Yeah.
And now I placed McCown under attack orders. My logic was he might end up doing something, but that's not really my plan this turn. But he's so close that being under attack isn't a bad idea.
Yeah, exactly. He's not going to be called upon to move much. So having him under attack is actually probably a good idea. Now, Withers probably should have been under advance orders all around.
Right.
He was far enough away, and he has to advance through the... Unless you just want to hold him back, which is fine. And he has to advance through the woods.
Well, my plan was doing what I'm doing now, right? So if I have to, the advanced guys will leapfrog the attack line.
That could happen, yeah. Yeah, that could happen.
Right. So that they're the cautious move forward guys. So obviously, as you can see from what I'm doing, my plan was pincer with Claiborne and Cheatham.
Mm-hmm.
You're salient, right? And then have those guys. So if you kind of look at it big picture, Withers and Breckenridge are a reserve.
Yes. Well, and I mean, my concern here at this point is really Van Cleve, because if you look at Crittenden's got a -1, right? Van Cleve's also got a -1, which means that even if I draw 3 efficiency with Crittenden, I'm still only... Van Cleve, who's kind of occupying a key position here, is still only getting 1 chit. I've drawn 1s for Crittenden for the last 3 or 4 turns. So, I mean, that's just the way it is. And that hurts Palmer. I mean, it hurts Palmer and Wood less because they're +1, so they can at least somewhat compensate for that. But it hurts Van Cleve the worst, and that flank is just paralyzed. There's very little I can do with it.
And I was worried about the dawn attack because with Cheatham, because he's a little too far away. But what little I've done, I'm pleased with the results.
Yeah, but you got 2 chits, 2 activations early on in the turn too. We're probably about a third of the way through the turn as far as chits go, would be my guess.
Yeah. So that was basically what you were worried about with Van Cleve was what I was trying to take advantage of. So this is all about Cheatham and Claiborne this turn, right? With 2 guys in reserve. So Claiborne's sticking those guys. Mm-hmm. Wood's stuck, right? While Cheatham comes in and tries to pinch it, right? And see if I can capture get that wedge, make it, pinch that wedge off. And then I have Breckenridge kind of hanging back, all right, so if it gets a little too strong over there where Johnson's coming in, I can pivot, and then Withers is they're just gravy. They're the cleanup guys.
Yeah.
So Claiborne, not really talking about this turn. So if Claiborne shoots his wad, needs to fall back and regroup a little bit. Withers is basically can continue kind of, even though they're coming at different axes, the same attack.
Yeah, I mean you could back Claiborne up with Breckenridge as well. So you throw one of those brigades in to relieve Claiborne a little bit. Should that be necessary?
Yeah, it's why I did. I thought about not doing the dawn attack, but I didn't see any reason why not. But basically, for what you just pointed out, I have enough flexibility with 2 divisions, right? And I know I can do a lot of damage with the other 2 divisions. So why not?
Yeah.
And McCown is there. Like I said, he's under attack, basically to take advantage of opportunities. Mm-hmm. So if you weaken, you're Johnson's stiffening you out, and though I think you probably need to worry about the wedge, like you pointed out.
Yeah.
Right. That's obviously the thing to worry about. I think Fry's kind of safe.
Yes.
The guy who's in a weird position though is
Palmer
and Davis. Davis being on the other side of that creek is going to start not doing you a lot of good.
Well, there's not that much of Davis around, so I don't know that that's a huge problem.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I mean that's it. That's all that Davis has. I mean, it's not like it's an entire division. It's about 2 brigades worth of stuff.
Yeah.
So right now they're just kind of holding that flank, and I'm satisfied with that.
All right. Well, thanks for showing up, everybody.
All right, thanks for coming. I believe we'll discuss this off stream, but I believe we're on for a hot, dry season tomorrow. So everybody show up for that at 6 p.m. Eastern.
I can confirm that
Awesome.
now.
Very good. Very good. And then we'll